He's telling you now, get out. Okay, get thee out of what?
Thy country.
Okay, out of what? From thy kindred and what? From thy father's house. Read. To a land I will show you. Okay.
And I will make of thee a great nation.
You see that? So he couldn't have been great in his country, in his father's house. You see that? So certainly Genesis 1:28 was not an expected end for Abraham. In fact, if you go to Genesis chapter 22, Genesis chapter 22, in fact, Genesis chapter 15, the Lord said to Abraham, Abraham asked the Lord, Lord, what would you give me? I'm going childless. Huh?
Yes, sir.
What would you give me, seeing that I'm going childless? And Elijah of Damascus, my faithful servant, will be my heir. What did the Lord say? Please answer. The Lord said what? He will not be your heir. Is that not what the Lord said? Yeah? But that his seed will come out from your body. Out of your own body, your lungs. Yeah? And what did Abraham say? And Abraham requested for God to prove it to him. Right? So the Lord told him to count the stars. Right? Then the Lord, Abraham, the Bible says he believed God. He did not. He did not. He still wanted more proofs. God said, give me your offerings. Then God put him in a dark sleep. Horrible dream, right?
Yes, sir.
Then the Lord began to tell him about his descendant.
Yes, sir.
That they will be in captivity for 400 years.
Yes, sir.
What an expected end. He said, then after 400 years, I will come and deliver them because of the cup of the Amorites is not yet full.
Yes, sir.
Does that look like Genesis 1 verses 28?
No, not at all.
The Almighty Abraham. His first dream in life was a horrible dream, not marine spirit. God gave him a bad dream. Okay, now you go to chapter 22. The Lord, God now requested Abraham to offer Isaac, the son that he loved. Please answer now, right?
Yes,
and then he took him to one of the mountains of Moriah, right?
Yes,
and then offered him, right?
Yes,
as he was about to kill him, the angel of the Lord spoke and said, Abraham, don't kill that child. Right? Now I know you fear God, right?
Yes,
then the angel of the Lord said what? By myself I swear I will multiply your seed.
Yes,
do you understand?
Yes.
So which means Abraham's expected end was certainly not Genesis 1:28. It was what? The multiplication of his heritage.
Yes,
but it had to come through the offering of his son. We had wished Adam was alive to see how privileged he was.
Yes, sir.
That he was given an expected end from the beginning without him doing anything. Others had to work for it. You see that? So before we start quoting Jeremiah 29 verses 11, God said, my thoughts towards you, they are of good and not of evil, to give you an expected end. What is it? Because he will demand something for that expected end to come. He will demand something. In case you don't know, he will make a serious demand. Alright?
Yes, sir.
Jesus, his expected end was what? He was to be king, right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Did that happen?
No.
They killed him. He has to come back again.
Yes.
So where is the subduing of the earth then? Where is the having dominion of the earth? It ended with Noah.
Wow.
Because man didn't want it really. Man didn't want it. Man didn't really want it. Noah could have transferred it to his heritage. He was cursing his generation. He was half drunk. He was very drunk actually. Slept naked. His grandson saw him naked. Went to tell his father Ham, grandpa is naked. Noah woke up and cursed his grandson. You see that? Did the Bible say curse the earth, curse the things that are in it? No, it says subdue it.
Yes, sir.
Maybe that's how he subdued it.
Like curses.
Okay. But it is very obvious Abraham could not subdue where he was coming from.
No.
Not even Egypt. He could not subdue Egypt. He had to trade with his wife to survive. He said, "This would, I don't know whether they fear God. They might kill me. Please let my life be in your hands." That's what Abraham said to his wife. He said, "You are my sister." And she agreed. What a man. What kind of dominion is that? But anyway, let's avoid that temptation. The reason why we showed you this is because if this is how it was with men, what makes your own different? Don't sleep. What makes your own different? Okay, go to Ephesians chapter 1. Let's read Ephesians chapter 1. Ephesians chapter 1. Because it's expected then. And you need to understand, God expected then for you may be another man's normal life.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
It's true.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Maybe God's expected then for Mr. XYZ was to end up a senior manager in an organization. At least he tried. No one in his generation had come that far. So he tried. He retired at 75 as senior manager or general manager in an organization. But that organization where he retired as general manager, someone is the CEO and the person is even far younger. Do you understand? Yes. And the person has been CEO all his life because he owns the company.
True.
So you need to understand, this thing you say God has an expected end for you, what is it really? Because if we really understand what this expected end is, that means we are watching you. And I'm not dying now. We will see what this expected end is. Because if it is something that we will not discover, my neighbor next door lived all his life.
Is it worth it? Oh, Lord, have mercy.
That's true.
That tells you where you stand with God. The kings will hear of Elijah and prostrate, yet he was not wearing royal robes.
Amen.
So, we don't know what you expected in this. Lord, you promised me a while that by the end of this year I'll get married. Some people have been married for 55 years. So, what is the expected end? Or could it be what we are probably looking towards as the expected end is actually not the expected end? Because Abraham, which traditional Christianity today we all claim is the father of faith, we are all the seed of Abraham. God did not give him Genesis 1:28. God didn't. Okay. See how privileged Adam was.
Yes.
The first human ever to step into an expected end from his beginning.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
The day he was made, he was thrown into his expected end.
Wow.
Some men have lived.
It is my time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Some people will grow up into something.
Yes.
He was made
Yes,
a grown-up. He stepped into it. Do you understand? What will be a man's summit in life was Adam's beginning.
Yes.
That was his own childhood in adulthood.
Yes, sir.
He was told by spirits, subdue this earth, conquer it, earth. Meanwhile, territorial marine spirits are harassing the people in your neighborhood. This one was told, conquer. This one has issue with spirit husband, spirit wife. Adam was told to subdue everything. You couldn't, God couldn't tell him, get thee out of your kindred, out of your, where is kindred? God was his kindred. God was his country. God was his father's house. Where is that? God was his father and mother. Where will he go to? Where is that? Him being with God, the whole world was small before him. The whole world was under his feet. Jesus was told, we were told by Paul, that the Lord will put all his enemies under his feet. And up till now, he has not done it yet. For Jesus. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Do you understand?
Yes.
What Jesus has not attained, Adam attained it from his beginning.
Yes, yes.
Do you understand? Yes. What Jesus is looking forward to attaining. Listen, the earth Adam was to rule over was good.
Yes.
It was not bad. It was good. Everything in it was good. Even the tree of the knowledge of good and evil still had good in it. Do you understand? The earth Adam was ruling over was good. Jesus is waiting for the new Jerusalem to come to enter, to rule. And the new Jerusalem is 1,500 miles. It's like from New Jersey to Atlanta in a cube form. That's what Jesus is waiting for. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, the new Jerusalem is coming into the earth that Adam was told to rule over.
Wow.
You didn't get it. You see, all of us sitting, coming to church, studying the word of God, it never should have happened. This is all this thing, even our Christianity is a crisis management.
Wow.
Go to Ephesians. Go to Ephesians chapter 1. Ephesians chapter 1. Because we know people bring arguments from there. Let's see something in Ephesians chapter 1. Okay, let's read. Are you in Ephesians chapter 1? Yes. We've not even entered the main thing we want to talk to you about. So we're just building an introduction. Then we just enter. Then we leave. We just enter and come out. Then we'll leave it to you. Say remaking you.
Remaking you.
Because this you, do you love it? This you, is this the best of you, or there's still work to be done?
Yes, sir.
So why are you not available for the workers to work on you? Because the professors in the classrooms can't make you. What they are doing to you is, see, whatever you study in college, either as a doctor, as an engineer, and all of that, that's not you. That's not what God destined for you. When you get that degree as a lawyer, or as a doctor, or as an engineer, that certificate simply means an opportunity has been opened. All we study in school for is to have opportunities. So I can't have a degree in banking and go and apply for medicine. Do you understand?
Yes,
except I can work in the finance section of a hospital. But I can't apply to be a surgeon.
No.
Three of us. I read banking and finance. Then I will now carry that degree and go and apply where they say surgeon, neurosurgeon wanted. I say I have banking and finance degree. I asked Collins, Dr. Collins, we did the same general studies together, went to the same university. touch your body water? Because they might want to just admit you quickly. Where is it? There is it. And even among the medical field, a dermatologist cannot apply to be for the role of a neurosurgeon. Can they? Please answer now. So somebody, we all did medicine, we all did phlebotomy, we all did biology, osmosis, we all cut cadaver. No, dermatologist, you cut skin. This one is this side. This one, dermatology is external.
Amen.
No, I'm a dentist. So I call cadaver. It is the teeth of a cadaver that you were playing with, not intestine. Imagine if someone was told to operate on you, and he comes, he says, "I'm a doctor. I'm Doctor." So say, "What doctor are you?" Say, "I'm a dermatologist." Say, "I didn't ask him this." Say, I learned that you had a heart problem. I'll be operating with you. See my heart, doctor. It is your own cut. Let's cut your own. Doctor, come and lie down. You even stand up on the bed and say, "Come and lie down. Your temperature is high." Then you say, "It is you today." You hold the blade. It is you that will cut today. So whatever you study in school gives you what? Opportunities. That has nothing to do with even you. So even if you give 10 years, 6 years to studying a course, the real you has not been touched yet. That's the thing. The real you has not been touched. So what we want to look at here goes beyond your profession.
Yes, sir.
See, you studied it, you work now, you still need help. Why do you still need help? Why are you still looking for another job elsewhere? What do you think you're trying to do? You're trying to what? Look for what? Opportunities. Because your degree gave you one opportunity. Right? And then a master's degree will give you what? An added opportunity. An additional opportunity. Maybe in a different field or in the same field, but you still have to study for it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
But see, that has nothing to do with you being made. That's the point. You know, some people think, me being a preacher today, I went to a theological school and all that. I read English language. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I did finance in my second degree. But today I'm a preacher. But preaching is not something I studied in the university. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Because those things, those degrees gave me what? Opportunities. And I'm still using them today because I can communicate with you in English. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Irrespective of my accent. And then when it comes to finance, I can appropriate funds. Because I've handled it before.
Yes,
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
But what really makes me, what I was supposed to be, is what I'm doing today. I was supposed to be a preacher. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm not saying you are supposed to be a preacher, but at least let's know what you were supposed to be. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ephesians chapter 1. Because if you say, well, I was predestined to be a doctor, that means God does not have sense. That means something is wrong with God. Because we know it was your uncle that told you to do medicine. And that uncle does not have any business with God. So God trusted your medical destiny in the hands of an uncle who does not even know him. Wonderful. God must be confused though. No, that's not the case. Okay, look at Ephesians chapter 1. Let's read now. 1, 2, go. Paul, an apostle,
The saints which are at Ephesus and to the faithful in Christ Jesus.
Grace be to you, and peace from God our Father, and from the Lord Jesus Christ. Blessed be God,
And Father of our Lord Jesus Christ,
who had blessed us with all spiritual blessings. Now, here, people don't understand that verse of scripture. They think here when they say God has blessed us with all spiritual blessings, they think, well, God has blessed us with all spiritual blessings with reference to owning airports, owning airplanes, owning big corporations. Here, the blessings here has nothing to do with material things. Here, he's talking about God speaking volumes of you.
Yes, sir.
In the corridors of darkness. When he says heavenly places here, if you connect this to Ephesians chapter 6 verses 12, he says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of the age, and then against spiritual wickedness in heavenly places. There's what you call spiritual wickedness. Satan in the days of Job was what? An agent of spiritual wickedness in the heavenly places. The Lord said, have you considered my servant Job? In the earth there is none like him. He is righteous. He is this. That's what Paul is saying here. The word blessed means to speak volumes of someone. Among spirits. Among the spiritual men. God is speaking volumes. It's like the Lord saying to Samuel the seer, I'll be sending someone to you tomorrow. He's the one you should make king. And Saul came. This was someone who was looking for donkeys, yet God was speaking volumes of him. You see that? So if you think this was only limited to Christians, you miss it, because God did it with many of old who were never Christians.
Yes, sir.
But the question is this: was King Saul originally destined to be king? No. Someone created it.
Wow.
Because some men demanded it.
Wow. Yes.
So this brings us to even the subject of destiny. Could it be that the choices of men can make God create new destinies?
Yes, sir.
Because that's the only way he can fully be in control of both heaven and earth.
Yes.
Because whatever is bound here affects the heavenlies.
Wow. Yeah.
Amen.
Yes,
So God is not limited by destiny. God was the king over Israel and appointed Samuel the seer. And we were told his spiritual coverage was from Dan to Beersheba, and everyone knew. Then later on he appointed his biological sons. The people didn't want them. Said, those men, they are crooked. They are like Hophni and Phinehas. They said, sir, you are old. You will soon die. We need a king. And God said to Samuel the seer, it is not you that they rejected. It is me. Give them a king. Anyway, by tomorrow, this was in chapter 8 of 1 Samuel, right? And then in chapter 9, then came King Saul. Then came Saul, who later became king. You see that? So, you need to understand, it was not in Saul's original destiny to be king. You say why? Because Israel was never supposed to have a king at all. God himself was their king. That was God's destiny for them. But the people said they didn't want it. So you see, God's expected end may not be what you want. May not be what your father wants.
That's so true, sir.
We've had to come and talk to some parents. Say, leave this your child. God, this is what God was. No, he leaves, he's not your child. God gave it to me. I'm a caretaker. I'm the one to answer. He must be a doctor. Now, what do you want God to do? God says, leave them alone. Let him go and be a doctor. And sure enough, he becomes a doctor. But it doesn't mean that's what God really wanted for that person. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, if the guy later comes, I was destined to be a doctor. No, you were not. Your father destined it.
Very true. His father did.
So you see, circumstances, therefore. Now, there's a reason why we're saying this. God may have planned something originally for you, but because of probably where you were born, or the circumstances of the place where you found yourself, it can make that destiny not come to pass. It can make God change what he originally planned. It doesn't mean that what God has originally destined for you from the beginning may be what you will end up with. Because an environment can influence God's original destiny. The kind of parents you have can influence it. And if one has already missed God's original destiny and is now quoting scripture, the Lord says, my thoughts towards God's thoughts towards me, they are not of peace, to give me an expected end that you mortgaged a long time ago. An expected end you mortgaged a long time ago. You know, there was a lady, she was introduced to us on the phone. Somebody gave her our phone number, and so she called us on the phone from Nigeria and was telling us how Pastor Christian knows the person. We just don't want to call her name. But that the Lord, she relocated to Nigeria to go and do business. And it's been 2 years now in Nigeria. Things are difficult for them. So, a relative of Pastor Christian gave her phone number to call us. And so she called us. In the course of talking to her, then the Lord said, tell her actually, I never planned for her to go to Nigeria to go and do business. So we said, Madam, the Lord said you were not supposed to go to Nigeria to go and do business in the first place. Oh, she said, no, sir, you are wrong. That's what she said to me. She says, I'm sorry to say, but you are wrong. I said, but the Lord cannot lie. She said, no, you are wrong. I said, tell me why I'm wrong, so that I don't make the same mistake again. Let me hear you. She said, actually, Pastor E. Adeboye of the Redeemed Christian Church of God told us to go and do business in Nigeria. When she said it, the Lord shouted. You know, sometimes I will tell you, we say the Lord whispers. The Lord shouted. The Lord says, you lie. I'm even nice the way I said it. The Lord shouted. I was even thinking she heard it, but she didn't hear Jack. The Lord said it was a lie. So I said, and the way the Lord shouted, it made me react. So I said, Madam, you lie. He said, no, how do you mean I lie? I said, Madam, you lie. Pastor David did not tell you to go to Nigeria and do business. She said, how do I know? I said, Madam, I'm not a member of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. In all honesty, I'm not. We honor the man of God, Pastor Adeboye, but I know that's not what he told you. Because the same God we serve is the same God the man of God is serving. And the God the man of God is serving told me is a lie. I said, Madam, you lie. That God shouted, it's a lie. Because, see how God reacted. Just by her lying against the man of God himself. God reacted. So the next time you lie against me,
Not me.
God reacted. No, you guys don't lie. What? In church. Anyway, I said, Madam, you lie. Because the Lord told me it's a lie. She said, no, it's not a lie. Then the Lord, as she was still trying to talk, the Lord, a screen opened before me. So I saw Pastor Adeboye. He came to have a program in Maryland. I saw Maryland. He was sitting while someone was leading praise, and all that. So this woman's husband happens to be like a security officer to the man of God. So by reason of that opportunity, she came to greet the man of God. The husband took her, oh, this is my wife, and all that. So we saw her, we were seeing it in the screen. She knelt down. Now, when we say screen, it's not as if I'm seeing the vision.
Yes.
While we were talking to her on the phone, it was before me. Then she was now bringing the business opportunity to the man of God. Then the man of God said, have you prayed before the Lord? Then she said, well, we prayed about it. Then he said, what did the Lord say? He said, the Lord said it's okay. Then he said, well, if the Lord says it's okay, then you have my blessings. So we told the lady, that's what happened. She said, yes, it is true. I said, but you lie against the man of God, that you said the man of God said it's okay. I said, you were trying to oppress me, that Pastor Adeboye. There are some people who try to bring the name. And some people mentioned that. Sometimes somebody came and almost the same thing too. I said, Apostle Johnson, man, told me this. I said, Apostle Johnson, man, says. I said, okay. And we knew the person was lying. But the person just trying to tell me, I know Apostle Johnson, man, and all that. So, and we did not argue. And the Lord told me, don't say a word. So we kept quiet. 2 months later, now I'm talking about somebody else who mentioned Apostle Johnson, man. That's when the person was now having serious issue. And the person now came to me. The person thought I had forgotten. The person was looking very emaciated. The person thought I forgot. I said, I remember you very well. I told you, say, Apostle Johnson, man, told you this. So you see, she was trying to, look at you, you're a small boy. Great men of God have been giving me prophecy. You know this kind of thing.
Yes.
There's a difference between what you have decided you want to do for the man of God to approve.
Yes, sir.
From coming to meet the man of God to say, what do you counsel me to do?
Yes, sir.
These are two different things. You did not come seeking the man of God's counsel. You came trying to convince the man of God to put his approval. And you lied against the God who said it's a lie. She said, God said it's okay. Now, this lady, it's been 2 years. The businesses were not working. I said, but you said, Pastor Adeboye said people should do this thing. But why the business is not flourishing? Why are you calling me for prayers? Why don't you go and meet Pastor Adeboye who told you to go and do business in the first place? Then she said, I'm so sorry. This was like 7 years ago, 6 years ago. She said, I'm sorry. I said, the truth of the matter is that you are in the plan B of God. You already missed the plan A. She said, no, I want to be in God's plan A. I said, for you to be in God's plan A, you have to come back to America. Anyway, then we were still in union. We were having a service one day. And after the service, the lady walked up to me. And she said, good evening, Bro.Osi. When we heard the voice, because we had already gotten acquainted now, we talk from time to time then. So I said, are you so person? She said, yes. I said, really? Yeah. I said, you are back now to America? She said, yes. That night, we had a night vigil as we were praying. The Lord told us, tell her to do this, tell her to do that. I think she stayed for some weeks before she went back. And when she got back to Nigeria, doors open. Unprecedented doors. It did not make Pastor Adeboye false in any way. Rather, through the prophetic, we were able to even come in defense of Pastor Adeboye. Yet I'm not a member of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. But the reason why we told you that story is to make you see here that she missed the plan, God's original plan. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And in missing God's original plan, she was still quoting scriptures. My thoughts, God said, my thoughts towards you, they have peace. You've already missed the thoughts. You've already missed the plans. You've already missed the expected end. Because she thought that she was in God's thoughts, in God's plan, in God's expected end, because Pastor Adeboye said, you have my approval. Meanwhile, the man of God asked you, what did God say? Don't know that you go was saying. Thank God for the prophetic, because she lied against the man of God. So when he says, blessed be God who had blessed us with every spiritual blessing here, he's talking about how God speaks volumes of you. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's read verses verses 4 now. According. Now notice, whatever God is going to say concerning you, it will be according to what? According as he has chosen us. Question, has he chosen everyone? Look at verses 1 again. He said, Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ by the will of God. So here, what he was quoting was in reference to those who have been chosen for the work as a ministry gift, not as a Christian. Notice that Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ. So here he's making reference to what? His apostleship. Do you understand? That it is the will of God, and God speaks volumes of him, even in the corridors of darkness. That was why he made reference to it in Ephesians chapter 6 verses 12. He says, we wrestle. He's not saying every Christian wrestles. We wrestle against flesh. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of the age, against spiritual wickedness in heavenly places. Why? Because God has spoken volumes of him and his company. Do you understand? Because remember, in verses 21 of Ephesians chapter 6, which is the last chapter, he told them, I'm sending Tychicus unto you to let you know my state of affairs.
Yes, sir.
So, traditional Christianity teaches this as though what Paul was saying here was for every Christian. No, he was writing to the church in Macedonia, actually. Sorry, Laodicea. What is called the book of Ephesians was actually the Laodicean church originally. What is called Ephesians today was originally what? The Laodicean church. So he was writing to the Laodiceans, which is now called Ephesians, about the state of his affairs on his missionary trips. So he was writing to them, sending Tychicus to give them the state of his affairs, of what they have gone through in their lives concerning this journey. He said, blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. The blessedness is to who? To God, not even to Jesus. To God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. Right?
Yes, sir.
Blessed then means what? We speak volumes of the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who also what? Has spoken volumes of us before every spiritual man, even down to the corridors of darkness. That's what he's saying. But that this is preconditioned on what? How he chose us. Wow. Did he choose every Christian? No. According as what? As he had chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be what? Holy and without blame before him in love. Is it for every Christian? No, it's for those who have been called into the work. So he's letting them know what we have gone through is according to our calling, which may not be the same as yours. Let's give you a typical example. No, let's leave that example. Let's continue. Read verses 5. Having predestined us unto the adoption of children by Jesus Christ to him, according to the good pleasure of his will, to the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he had made us what? Accepted in the beloved. And then he begins another subject, talking about the redemption of the Jews and all that. But the first thing he addressed was what? His calling. The reason why they were faced with the kind of trials they were faced with was in reference to his calling. So you will say, why didn't Paul the apostle get married? Paul said it was because of the kind of calling we carried.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You see, it was something. The way God has spoken volumes of us If you have a wife, the enemy can destroy her. If you have children, the enemy can destroy them.
It's true. It's true.
He said, because this thing is not a matter of fighting flesh and blood. Question. It is it's all about what? Fighting principalities, powers, rulers of the darkness of this age, spiritual wickedness in a man who is faced with such battle. How can he settle down? How can he even have a girlfriend?
They'll destroy his family.
Even in a ship that he entered as a prisoner, the weather changed and caused a shipwreck. All because of him. He entered the ship. The weather shifted. Forces shifted the weather and attacked the ship just to destroy them. Until an angel appeared and said, be of good cheer. You will surely get to Rome.
There shall be no loss of life.
And for your sake, none shall lose their life. Forces. Even God behaves that way. When Jonah disobeyed God, God moved as a wind, attacked the ship. And the people, they were throwing charms. They threw voodoo and discovered it is God. Every voodoo they threw, God's face will appear, angry with Jonah's face. Jonah said, I'm the cause. They threw him away like a dustbin. And the Bible said, when they threw him overboard, there was a great calm. It's amazing. Because it's okay. Hey, yeah, fish. This will keep you for the next 3 days. And the Bible said the Lord prepared the fish. Jonah's disobedience pushed God into creation. God said, let's prepare a special fish. Swallow, no will. We will eat that guy. The special fish. A fish of prayer. He was praying inside the fish's belly. He said when he entered the fish's belly, he got to the gates of hell. What a fish. So that means that when people die, there's a fish that takes them to the gates of hell. Jonah said, when I got to the gates of hell, I remembered the tabernacle of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, and I will face the east and call on the memories of God. And started reminding God what King Solomon said. Anyone that is in trouble, the moment they turn to the east. How did he find east? He saw it all. Anyway, praise God. But now you see here what this scripture is addressing. But let's look at what Paul said here. We can see here that even though in the beginning God said, let us make man. Right?
Yes, sir.
Paul says they were chosen before the foundation of the earth, right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, were they chosen before the foundations of the earth to be preachers? No. No. They were chosen. You need to understand, the will of God is not the same thing as choosing.
Yes, sir.
They were chosen before the foundations of the earth. The will of God for Paul was for him to be an apostle. But he was chosen even before the will of God came into manifestation. So he was chosen before the foundations of the earth to do what? To live a blameless life. That's what he's telling you. You see why even with all the killing, even down to Stephen, whose death he masterminded, he was blameless.
Yeah.
He says he was chosen from the foundations of the earth to live a blameless life. There are people who live it today. No matter what they do wrong, they are error-free. You can point fingers. You can. God did it.
I receive, Lord.
From the beginning. Long before that sin was even, before sin came into existence, these ones were chosen to rise above it.
Yes, sir.
Paul said, why? Because they were coming to fight greater battles. Sin was not a battle. See, why some people are fighting, oh God, keep me holy, help me to overcome sin. That was not Paul's prayer. Paul said we were fighting spirits, principalities, fallen angelic forces. We were fighting them. One time he said, we were beaten, even given to lions to be eaten up. He said, but God delivered us.
Yes, sir.
Why? Because God had already given him an expected end. That for you, Paul, all your life, no matter what you do wrong, you will always be blameless. some men have lived. You see why each time he was brought before the kings to come and defend himself, even the kings themselves were baffled. This guy, in fact, one of the kings said, this your much learning has turned you mad. Paul. He said your much learning has made you go mad. They saw forth spirits, demonic forces, to the extent that even demons were now defending him. Jesus, I know. Paul, I know. We fought him before. He is blameless. You mentioned his name. You 7 sons of Sceva, beat them naked, remove their boxers. Paul says they were chosen to be blameless. Okay. So that you see why in the life of Paul, he never prayed one day, oh God, I confess my sins before you. Please, there was nothing to confess. It
Yeah. That's true.
Paul the apostle, yes, we called you with Sister Paulina in Avenue 75. Agbodeba 105. Paul says it's true. Well, you owe the church an explanation. Come and tell the church what you did. Confess before the church what you did. Paul says. Let's suppose Paul says, okay, I'm coming. And he says, Lord, let me go and confess my sin. God says, if you confess, I'll kill everybody in that church. But as you confess, the moment you just finish, they will all die. Because Paul said, they were chosen before the foundations of the earth to be blameless. That's not the case with everyone. To Mary and Aaron, he said, you were not afraid to touch the Lord's anointed. You were not afraid. You were chosen. Now, how can you say you are the seed of Abraham? Imagine if Paul said he is the seed of Abraham. Right?
Yes.
Of course, as a Jew he is. And of course, the Jewish Christians, right?
Yes.
Okay. But imagine, do you know Paul never really patronized that? He did say it, but he never lived it. He didn't want that to be a provision for his life. You say why? Look at Abraham had to give birth to Ishmael. And for 13 years, that's in Genesis chapter 16. The distance between chapter 16 and chapter 17 is about 13 to 25 years. God did not talk to Abraham. In that very chapter 17, God came to Abraham and said, Abraham, walk before me blameless.
Yes, sir.
Eh?
Yes.
Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
What Paul was chosen from the beginning, before the foundations of the earth, what he was chosen to do, what he was chosen to be in life, Abraham needed to marry Agag first, give birth to Ishmael, even in old age to become. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You didn't get it.
Yes,
Yeah.
Do you understand? He felt bad because Sarah was accusing him. God will judge both of us today. God now said, Abraham, walk before me. He didn't say, Abraham, I've chosen you before the foundations of the earth to be blameless. He said, Abraham, walk before me blameless. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, Abraham, because of the circumstance he was found in, or he found himself in, God had to now speak to him and say, okay, now, walk before me blameless. What God was not giving Abraham, he already offered it to Paul before the foundations, even before Abraham was born.
As a birth.
Before Adam came into existence.
Yes.
God already chose certain men. They will walk through this earth blameless.
Wow.
Amen.
What kind of teaching do you want to teach that kind of person in class? Professor. Because whatever you be teaching him, you already have a fault.
Yes.
Because if you give him an assignment and he did not give you the answer correctly and you give him a D, you are in problems with God. If you gave Paul D, Paul? He gave him a D. So, oh Lord, he did not answer there. I said, what is diffusion? He said, diffusion is the movement of gas from a region of higher concentration to a lower concentration. Meanwhile, the correct answer is diffusion is the movement of gas from a region of lower concentration to a region of higher concentration. Example, perfume. You spray it here, after a while it sprays. That's diffusion. But he was supposed to give me that answer. He didn't give me, because professor. You feel because you did not answer diffusion correctly, professor, you will not enter heaven. You have diffused into heaven. Now, there's a reason why we brought you here, because sometimes we preachers like to quote this. Okay. That God has predestined us, chosen us. Even when you see a man of God quote it, we can understand because he's a man of God. But if you say, oh, no, you're not speaking to us, I receive it. We have been chosen. Sit down. Sit down. Court papers are waiting for you. Sit down. The good news about people like Paul is that whoever they chose or choose to associate with, that person automatically becomes what? Blameless. So even if your destiny was originally embalmed with tickets, with police blame, social blame, terrorist blame, marital blame, ministerial blame, as long as one of them, people like Paul, say they like you, you are clean. That was what happened to Onesimus.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
When Paul now had to write to Philemon and said to Philemon, whatever charge you have against Onesimus, put it to my account. But nevertheless, you still owe me your life. Don't forget you are my intestine. He was conscious of it. What a mind.
Yes, sir.
To be deliberately conscious that as long as he lived in this earth, he was blameless.
Yes, sir. Wow.
Yet, he still kept the kind of humility he had.
Yes.
So he must be a deliberate Satan to go and trouble somebody like him.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You see what he said? He said, I had to be cunning.
Yes, sir.
He said, I had to be crafty to discover how cunning you guys were, right? He said so, right? Right? He said, I had to be crafty to discover how cunning you guys were. But yet, even when he did that, he was still without blame.
Yes, sir.
Do you know there was a time he lied in the course of preaching? And the people later discovered the lie. He said, whether we preach about Christ in truth or in a lie, as long as Christ is preached, we are justified.
Yes, sir.
You see that?
Yes, sir.
He said we are justified.
Yes, sir.
As long as Christ is preached, he said.
Yes, sir.
He said, whom he did foreknow, he did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son. You know what he's saying? He was talking about himself. He said he has come to a point where he has been conformed to be like Jesus. Equality with him. No wonder the demon said, Jesus I know. Paul I know. He said that we've been chosen to be blameless. Jesus, we all agree, he was in the beginning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
He is the word, right?
Yes.
That became flesh.
Yes.
Jesus' one began what? Where? From the beginning.
Yes.
Jesus' one began in the beginning as the word, right?
Yes, sir.
Paul's one is before the foundation.
Yes, sir.
Paul says we are conscious of it. And he talked about how he slaughtered many. He said, but yet we are without blame. He said, the Lord did it. The Lord knew that I did it out of a good conscience, he said. The killing of people, Christians, the Christian is slaughtered. He was preaching. He said, the Lord knows. God bears me witness that I did it out of a clear conscience.
Yes, sir.
He said his conscience is clear.
Yes, sir.
At a point, he had an option whether to go to heaven or, thank you, whether to go to heaven or to still stay in the earth. And finally left at 66. He finished. The thing is, when we pray, oh God, help me to remain rapturable. Help me not to miss heaven.
Yes.
He was never afraid of it. But if this was the case with him, it can be with you. No wonder I said everything that I've attained I count it as dung.
Yes.
But you still hold it as valuables. Now don't treat it as dung yet because you are just starting life. Because don't come and become a burden to church. Okay, now there's a reason why we took you into all of that. So now let's take you into what we want to show you, then we'll close. Say remaking you.
Remaking you.
Now the reason why we showed you all of that was to bring you to one point. Please, can you attend to him, please? We're waiting for you. You're all acting surprised. Okay, so can we continue now? Now, the reason why we showed you that is because it will not be right for us to deceive ourselves and be quoting Genesis 1:28 and think that that is what God has planned for us and still has for us. Now, one of the popular scriptures Christians like to quote is, "But ye are a chosen generation,
Yes, sir.
a royal priesthood," right?
Yes, sir.
A holy nation, a peculiar treasure. If you read it in context, Apostle Peter was not talking to we Christians. He was making reference to Jewish Christians overseas. He was still talking to the Jewish Christians. And what Peter quoted in 1 Peter 2 verses 19, when he says, "Ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood," was God's original expected end for the nation of Israel.
Yes.
If you go to Exodus chapter 19,
Yes, sir.
verses 4 to 5, Exodus 19 verses 4 to 5, that was God's plan and thoughts for the whole nation. And they were going to be the most preferred amongst
Yes, sir.
all nations. Now, this brings us to one point. You see this thing we call white supremacy and all that? Please answer now.
Yes, sir.
You see, if I'm opportune to sit down with a white supremacist, I'll call him a fool. I'll tell him that what he doesn't even know is that this thing we call white supremacy, the thing is, it's a today is not the time to go into it. Many of them who claim they are white supremacists don't even understand what they are into. Do you understand?
Yes,
Because everything about white supremacy is all geared towards fulfilling what Hitler started.
yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the people Hitler attacked were the Jews.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You,
sir.
you see that?
Yes, sir.
So now, America, who helped the British under the leadership of Winston Churchill
Yes, sir.
to defeat Hitler,
Yes, sir.
were all whites.
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
Hitler is not a black man.
It's true.
He's a white German too.
Yes, sir.
But Hitler now, hated the Jews.
Yes.
Eh?
Yes, sir.
Now, America took sides with Winston Churchill of Great Britain
Yes, sir.
to overcome the German forces, right?
Yes,
Hitler forces.
Yes,
Right?
yes, sir.
Now, how come the same America now is not patronizing a German ideology? Because this thing will call neo-Nazis. Everything about Nazis, the Nazist,
Yes, sir.
is German.
Yes, sir.
So when they say they are neo-Nazis, they are, you see, the spirit of Hitler has overtaken them.
Yes.
Now, that's one side. The other side of the coin is the black man who thinks that the white man is targeting him or her. In all honesty, when you look at the concept of white supremacy, you see, blacks are not even interested in reading the concept. If you read, because if a white man tells you he's a white supremacist, have you ever asked him, tell me what does it mean, and tell me why you don't like me? Oh, you are a Negro and all that. That's a farmer's language. You understand? But it's okay, I agree that you call me a Negro, but tell me what makes you supreme over me. Because if I understand the white supremacy ideology, the end target are the Jews.
Yes. Yes.
So America now cannot say she's in partnership with Israel,
When they're white supremacy.
and there's white supremacy
It's a clown.
with the neo-Nazi flags.
Oh my gosh.
The Jews are not fools. Because that flag reminds them of what Hitler did. You see that? So America cannot say on one hand we are good friends to Israel
Yes, sir. With neo-Nazi flag.
with neo-Nazi flags.
Yes, sir. It's a contradiction.
So you see, you the black man, you are not in the picture. Take yourself out of it. That's the point. Go and sit down. Correct. You tell the so that the black man is saying the white they are after. Go and sit down. It is except you wear that small hat and you say you have 25% Jewish blood in you. That's what they are looking for you. Because everything about Hitler was the innate hatred for the Jews.
Yes, sir.
The innate hatred for the Jews. And so you cannot say you are a neo-Nazi now and be targeting the blacks, because Hitler had no business with the blacks. Hitler did not target blacks. He didn't even bring the war to Africa. We understand he wanted to turn Africa to a farmland, but he didn't even come to Africa. So why are you putting yourself into a deliberate confusion? Do you understand? A deliberate situation that is not your concern. We can understand the concept of apathy.
Yes.
Do you understand? That's a different concept. You may see some quasi-supremacy. There's a reason why we're telling you this. Because if you look at this subject of racial supremacy,
Yes, sir.
you understand?
Yes.
What the white supremacists don't understand is that they are trying to promote a color supremacy. But then, even the Jews don't look black.
Yes.
The Jews are white too.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you see, the ideology of supremacy, white supremacy, is not even well understood.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So imagine if a Jewish white man says he's a white supremacist. Brother, it is you they are looking for. Not me. In case you have forgotten. Go and read history and see what Hitler did. He knew the people they targeted. I mean, you talk about the Holocaust. Don't propagate. Even many churches talk about the Holocaust, right? Right? What Hitler did to the Jews, right? What Stalin did to the Jews, right? Now, the ideologies of these folks is what the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, these various camps patronize. Right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So who told you they are targeting you, this black man? Except they don't know what they are targeting. Because the purity of that ideology is that the Jews are the enemies. Not you, a black man. So why are they killing blacks? Because they are a disturbance. That's the truth. You like to make noise. You think they are after you. They are not looking for you. And so even preachers, and you know, some of these white supremacists, don't fool yourself, they go to church.
They do.
They go to church.
It's true.
They are serious Christians. Even the neo-Nazi emblem is a cross.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Which is also a Jewish emblem of a cross.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So let's understand the ideology. You, this black person, they are not looking for you. They are not looking for you. And they shoot the people in our community. They came to kill the people in our community. They didn't kill you. That's why you are still talking. You better shut up. They are not looking for you. You think they don't know your house? They know those you are looking for. Say, I'm not the target. Now, there's a reason why we brought that up. You see, this thing, if you listen to a typical indoctrinated white supremacist, they even tell you that the white supremacy is a God-given birthright to them. That they believe that the whites were supposed to rule over other races.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yes, sir.
But what they don't know is that they were not the ones originally choosing to rule over all races.
Yes.
The Jews were supposed to.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So you see, even the concept of supremacy,
Yes.
right? It was God who initiated it.
Yes.
Now, not white supremacy.
No.
The concept of what?
Supremacy.
The concept of racial supremacy. There's a difference.
Yes, sir.
There's a difference between white supremacy and racial supremacy. White is not a race. You need to understand. We explain that it's a color. It is not a race. I can have a white mind trapped in a black skin. Why? Because I've seen fellow blacks hate other blacks with innate hatred, like a white man too. Alright? So you need to understand there's a difference here. The reason why we said this, don't miss this thing we're explaining to you. If you look at the white supremacy ideologies today, who are those that make up the white supremacy? Europeans primarily.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Amen now, right?
Yes, sir.
Czech and Slovakia, some of those places,
Yes,
right?
sir.
England and all that.
Yes.
Let's just say the key players in the European Union,
Yes,
the
sir.
countries, right? Amen.
Amen.
Now, there's a reason why we're saying this now. If you look at even Europe generally, there had always been a sentiment that they had towards the Jews from the very beginning.
Yes, sir.
And if you look at the white supremacy here in America, they seem to draw support from Europe.
Yes.
Well, maybe you don't know what's
Yes, sir.
okay, I'm learning. Then how can we explain it to you now? Okay. So they seem to draw support from Europe, England, Britain, Czech and Slovakia, all those places, Poland, exactly, all those places, because those ones are, they see themselves as core whites.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But the unfortunate thing is that this subject of supremacy was not promised them.
Yes, sir.
It was promised a race. And this race was a mixed group. Because among the Jews you had blacks,
Yes, sir. It's
you had brown,
It's true.
then you had whites too.
It's true.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So there's a big difference between white supremacy and racial supremacy. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
White supremacy primarily targets who? The Jews,
Yes, sir. The Jew.
not blacks.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, you need to understand, make no mistakes about it. There's a big difference now between the concept of white supremacy and nationalism. Although they are trying to mesh themselves together.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you come into the corridors of nationalism, then you can begin to say you are targeting other minorities, like the Spanish, like those killings that took place now. Even though it is under the umbrella of white supremacy, because the killer himself is identified with the white supremacy group, but really he is a nationalist. He is not even a white supremacy. Yes, he's not a white supremacist, because the primary target of a white supremacist is the Jew, not Spanish. So let's know where you stand. Are you a nationalist coming under the guise of a white supremacist? Because we can tell you are not really a white supremacist if your target is the Spanish or a black man. Because the core white supremacist is primarily targeted towards the Jew. But you, this white man, under the guise of a white supremacist, you still see a white Jew as a brother, then you are not really a white supremacist. You are just a nationalist that is targeting the blacks. And you see, even the word nationalist or nationalism is just a 19th century word. It was included into the dictionary in the 19th century. It never existed before. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So now, we've told you, there's a difference between what? Racial supremacy,
And white
white supremacy, and nationalism. Which kinds of come under what? The guise of white supremacy. But knowing who they target will let us know this one is not really a white supremacist.
Yes, sir.
Understand this thing, because if you say you want to listen to TV, they will lie to you.
It's true.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if the white man is telling another white man, you are a disgrace to the white race, how is he? See, so there's a reason. Now, God is not behind white supremacy.
No way.
You need to understand this.
Yes, sir.
You know why we're telling you this? Even though we Christians come to church, there are some silent misgivings some of us have towards God, as though God is the cause of all this problem. If he had not made me black or brown, no one would be targeting me to shoot me.
That's true.
But what you don't know is that the beauty is in the difference.
Yes, sir.
Well, maybe you don't want it, but the beauty in the difference.
The beauty is in the difference.
Okay. So now, God is not behind what? White supremacy. Right?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
But God was originally behind what? Racial supremacy. Because the children of Israel were a race, a people.
Yes.
Now, go to Exodus chapter 19. You get to see something we want to show you. But interestingly, God put an end to that concept. Because when the law came to an end, everything about this racial supremacy came to an end. So God has no hand in white supremacy. So don't be deceived when you see a white man carry a cross and say even God made the white superior. No. God originally made the race superior. The Jewish race.
Yes, sir.
Which you the white supremacist is targeting to destroy. And that automatically makes you an enemy of God that you say give you that white color. But again, it came to an end.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So now, the new supremacy is the supremacy of the church.
Wow.
Which is an amalgamation of what? Every nationality coming into one union where I can see a white man and call him a brother
Yes, sir.
in Christ.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Okay. But Apostle Peter was trying to still retain that racial supremacy. So when he was eating with the Gentiles in Galatians chapter 2 and saw the emissaries from Jerusalem, he quickly washed his hand. Paul said, you are a hypocrite. you are preaching this gospel and you still carry racial supremacy in your mind. He had a vision. The Lord said, kill and eat. He said, Lord, I don't eat anything unclean. He told the Lord, I don't eat anything unclean. Which means the Gentiles now. He didn't want to have anything to do with them. In chapter 11 of Acts, he was quoted for going to Cornelius' house. He said, the Spirit told me to go. That's why I went. He had to tell them the Spirit told him to go because of the concept of racial supremacy, which God had abolished through the death of Jesus on the cross. So, no matter what a white guy is trying to tell you about the white supremacy and that it is God who made it so, God has no hand in white supremacy. God did have a hand with racial supremacy initially. And the racial supremacy was not just a particular color. It was a mixed multitude. But like we said, there's a difference between racial supremacy, white supremacy, and what? Nationalism or nationalist. Okay. Read. It looks like we're in school now. We're teaching you these things. So I don't think it's only Bible we know. So that way, this will help you walk freely without concept, without complex. Sorry, and not feel like a white man is better than you. So that we are one and the same. Go and sit down.
Amen.
Okay, so let's read. But the thing is that this supremacy thing, it will cause more problems for America because even the Jews will become more suspicious. Because the flags the white supremacists are flying reminds them of the Holocaust and what Hitler did to the Jews. Which now, it looks like is rising in America.
Yes.
But who is the primary target? You can't say it is Mexico.
Yes.
No, that's nationalism.
Yes, sir.
The real target really is the Jews. And that's also in fulfillment of prophecy. That all the nations will come together and attack Israel. Ezekiel chapter 28, Ezekiel 38, Ezekiel 39, Ezekiel 40. Even down to chapter 44. Okay, so let's continue now.
Wow.
Exodus chapter 19. We've not entered what we want to show you, but we must show you tonight so that we can just go. Go ahead. Let's read that part.
In the third month.
No, Exodus 19.
Yes, sir.
Verses 4 to 5.
Oh no, we insulted. You have.
Okay, 1 to go. You have seen. Okay. You see that?
And I brought you unto myself.
Okay.
Now therefore, if you will obey my ways and keep my commandments, then you shall be a superior generation to me above all people. For all the earth is mine.
You see that?
Yes.
You will be a peculiar treasure above all people. What is that? Racial supremacy. But they never fulfilled it. Now, Apostle Peter now brought it up again. And now he was now targeting the Jewish Christians.
Yes, sir.
Those who have acknowledged the Lordship of Jesus Christ overseas. He says, now you are a royal priesthood. A chosen generation. How about those from Gentile background? You see why the same Apostle Peter who quoted 1 Peter chapter 2 verses 19, he saw his fellow Jews coming. He decided to wash his hands and not eat with the Gentiles. Christian Gentiles now. Christians from Gentile background. Why? What did he was trying to promote? The supremacy. That even though we are all Christians, we are still more superior. Peter said, Apostle Paul said, you are a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite. This is your gospel. I don't like it at all. You are a hypocrite. And that's how they separated. They never saw again. And Apostle Peter felt bad too. Of the truth. So you see, even amongst Christians today, have you not seen even the Methodist does not like the Catholic? The Orthodox. So I say, you go to Pentecostal church, you can't marry my daughter because we go to Orthodox church. Is that why I can't marry your daughter? Yet we are all going to the same level. Which gate would you enter? Maybe Marcus Garvey gate. Okay. So you see, God originally was behind what? Racial supremacy. Now, don't forget, in Numbers chapter 11, you will see clearly that these people the Lord was talking to was a mixed multitude. So they had blacks, white, everything in it. Please don't miss it, oh.
Yes, sir.
Because the Jewish world was a mixed multitude.
Yes, sir.
Do you understand? So originally God was behind what? Racial supremacy.
Yes, sir.
But he's not behind what? White supremacy. It's not. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
But now there is a new race.
Yes, sir. The church.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
The church.
Yes, sir.
Oh, is the church a race?
I mean, we are mixed multitudes.
There's a creation supremacy, I guess so. The new creation supremacy.
Yes, sir.
Because the church is the most exalted, privileged nation today. Which is also an amalgamation of what? Different nationalities. And if you understand that concept very well, you will not say I go to a white church, you go to a black church, or Ghana church, Nigerian church, Igbo church, Edo church, Hausa church, Ashanti church, Kotoko church, Ashanti Kotoko church. Yes, Conakry church. No. Okay, Senegalese church. Which one is Senegalese church? I go to Equa church, Episcopalian church. Which one, brother? Okay. Now, there's a reason why we showed you all of that. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, go to Matthew chapter 4. The reason why we took you into all of that is to show you something. Now, this is the main lesson. Right? But it's just a small thing. Just a small explanation. Those who have the ears to hear it can hear it. And those who don't worry, God be with you till the day we meet again. And if all you remember is white supremacy, it's okay. See, what did you learn in church today? He was talking to us about white supremacy. You see that, Bro.Osi? Wonder shall never end. They should be careful before they come and bomb church. They are not coming to bomb church. Okay. Here, what we're about to read, let's start from verses 17 to 19. 1, 2, go.
From that time, Jesus began to preach and say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And Jesus, walking by the sea of Galilee, saw two brethren, Simon called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And he said unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men.
Pause. That's the part I want you to see. Now, Jesus, he said to Peter, follow me, and I will make you. Now, if you read the whole accounts, you will never see where Jesus said, Peter, now, come, it's time to make you. He broke his head and reconstructed him, broke his toes. No, he said, follow. Then you will be made. So, followership is a making.
Yes, sir.
But now, it matters who you follow.
Yes, sir.
Now, are you following this?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you know what Jesus said? It means that Apostle Peter had no destiny.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
He meeting Jesus for the first time. Jesus created the one for him. Can we all sit down, please? Can you sit down, please? Why do we move around like this? Let's be disciplined now. When you do these things like this, you distract me. You know, some people think that we write notes when we preach. I really don't. I can write something down, but when I'm coming to preach, the Lord shows me something different. Sometimes I can see an angel stand on one side, and he's talking to me. Say this. Show me what to say. And the thing is that when you distract me, he's still talking. And what he has already said, you've missed it already. Because I was supposed to say it to you. I'm not a pastor. Okay. Apostle Peter was fishing fish.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Jesus said, Kai, come on. I need to make you.
Yes, sir.
There's a reason why if Jesus could say this to Apostle Peter, then that means the provision in Genesis 1:28 does not exist anymore. Because that provision in Genesis chapter 1 verses 28 was supposed to be for all men.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
We saw that was not the case with Abraham.
Yes, sir.
God gave Abraham a different expected end. Have you?
Yes, sir.
Abraham, for God to even make him, he had to follow God's instruction.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Peter was not told to follow an instruction. Jesus said, follow me. So there are some people, they can be made through obeying an instruction.
Yes, sir.
King Saul was made king
Yes, sir.
by simply obeying instructions. He says, go, take bread and wine. You shall see a company of prophets. You shall prophesy with them. Do this, do this. Come back. They will ask, when you get home, if they ask you, what did the prophet tell you? Don't tell them anything. Come back. And all that. He obeyed the instructions, he was coronated king.
Yes, sir.
He broke the instructions, God removed him. Period. What a destiny. And somebody here said, what you didn't know, First Samuel chapter 13. What you did not know was that God wanted to establish your throne forever. But because of what you have done, it will not continue. So there are destinies that can be cut short. It will not continue. But in Genesis chapter 1 verses 28, that was not what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be forever. As long as you are a human being, you are supposed to have dominion over everything. But now we can see here that that is not really the case. So instead of trying to project yourself into Genesis chapter 1 verses 28, you better come to terms with reality. Ask yourself, who are you following? Because even Jesus, for him to make Peter who he was, he said, follow me. Follow me. Then let me make you.
Yes, sir.
I thought Genesis chapter 1 verses 28 should be working for all men. At least where there is a male and a female, there should be dominion for all.
Yes, sir.
That was not the case. Even fishes, he could not conquer fishes. Genesis chapter 1 verses 28. The man was told to have dominion over fish. Peter could not catch one fish. Jesus said, come, let me remake you. Hey, brother, your condition is terrible. Hey, you already miss Genesis 1:28, even in your 30s, in your 40s. Jesus said, follow me. Hey, they had to wait for Jesus in a boat. They had to wait. Came to the sea as usual, like every other day. Oh, thank God Jesus passed by that day. There were many boats in the sea. Jesus saw these two. He preferred this one. He said, this guy, let's make him know. Otherwise, he will be a biological mistake. He will be a waste. He will be a speck in the dust. But imagine if Peter says, no, sir, fishing is good for me. I like my business. This fish you told me to catch, that I caught, I believe that once I make money by selling it, I'll buy the house. I don't want extravagant life. I want to live a simple life. Me, my wife, my children. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Anytime you need any boat, we have boats here. You know, let me have your phone number. Anytime I need prayers, I can call you, you know, so that you can pray with me. You know, there are some people like that. Once they meet a prophet prays for them, you never see them again. They are like submarines. They submerge. Then it is when they see a shark that they will rise back again. But also I was scrolling. Well, I was just clearing my room, so I just saw your card. So I said, let me just call Bro.Osi to know how he's doing. He didn't call me to know how you're doing. There's a problem. Problem made you remember me. Hey. When you made the money, you didn't remember me. Hi, Lord, help my condition. That is when you have problem, that's when you remember me. Lord, help my condition. Oh. Jesus said, follow me, then I will make you. Thank God he followed that day. He saw this guy doing tax. The same Matthew wrote this book, doing tax. Matthew was living his profession. Yeah, do you know what it means? He read tax and budgeting. Working for the Roman Empire. Jesus saw him and said, follow me. The guy resigned through a party that evening. Jesus attended the party. They finished grooving. He said, yeah, Jesus, let's go. I finished all the money. Let's go. Take my life and let it be consecrated unto you. So Matthew is showing us here. The reason why I followed Jesus is because Peter followed. He says, follow and I will make you. Sometimes, in fact, the same Peter that Jesus said he will make, there was a time he could not pay tax. Jesus had to help him pay. Sometimes when someone is helping you, the person could still be making you. So sometimes you will say, but I don't, since I've been following you, man of God, they say I should follow you. Since I've been following you, I don't say, I've not seen any meaningful testimony in my life. But they are still being made. What you didn't know was that you had nothing before in your life. Within 3 years, Jesus gave Peter what he never had for over 30-something years. Even after Jesus died, Peter went back to fishing. He said, I think Jesus deceived me. He just wasted my time for 3 years. Went back to fishing, caught nothing. Jesus said, look, without me you can do nothing, brother. This man, your destiny is tied. I'm the one to make it. And I tied it to me. Now you think about it. If Jesus never rose from the dead, it would have been over. Peter said, Sheburuku. Sheburuku means bad soap. This is bad soap. It's a slang, it's a colloquial expression. It's bad soap. Sheburuku. He deceived us, quickly died. So he used us and died. You see why Peter denied it? I don't know him. I don't know him at all. He forgot how Jesus helped him catch fish. He forgot how Jesus helped him pay tax. He said, I don't know him, I swear to God. Even God bear me witness. I don't know him. I don't know. I've never met him before. They say, but you talk like you say, no. Sometimes I like to mimic people. You know, I'm a comedian. Jesus said, follow me. Then I will make you. There was no sign that Peter was being made. But finally, it worked. The guy was made. A man whose shadow could cast out devils. People will sell properties and bring their proceeds. Jesus finally made him. But how did he do it? Followership. And as they followed, they never understood one thing. But they were faithful to follow. Jesus told them, you will die, you will rise again. They did not believe. But Jesus said, I'm still making you. So even in the making, you may not even believe the one who is making you. Sometimes you may even have doubts of Bro.Osi. Are you sure God really talks to him? Are you sure God really called him? The same thing too, they had doubts. The apostles were discussing with the people outside without letting Jesus know. The people will ask them, Jesus says the Messiah, right? Yeah, he says he's the Messiah. That's what he told us. Have you seen Elijah? The Lord says Elijah must come. So we will not seen any Elijah. It's true. Say anyway, sir. And they were discussing it among themselves until Jesus specifically called Peter, James, and John. These were the three who were discussing the matter. Are you sure this guy is not deceiving us? Because the three of them have been friends from childhood. They went to the same high school. They convinced themselves to enter fishery business. Because James and John's father were already into fisheries. So I believe James and John must have convinced Peter to come into the fishing business. Anytime you don't have fish, we can give you some fish. So they were discussing, this Jesus. So this guy is now, he's playing with our mind though. Then finally, Jesus took them to the Mount of Transfiguration. And Peter said, is it the reason why the Jews said Elijah must first come? Jesus looked at them. You people, you will not change. So sometimes there is a way they want to make you can look suspicious. There is a way they want to make you can look like as someone who is wasting your time. If only you can be patient. When he says an heir, as long as he's a child, he's not different from a slave. Even though he's the Lord of all, but he's placed under tutors and governors until the appointed time of the Father. Jesus said, follow me. I will make you be fishing men. You will not be looking for jobs. You will fish men who own jobs.
We receive it.
So if there was nobody in Peter's church who was single, a man who can fish, man. If the lady says, I need a man, Peter said, no problem. Come in 2 days. There's a brother I'd like you to meet. Oh yeah, Brother Boniface. This is the sister I was telling you about. Both of you marry. Come to church in fact, both of you marry today. Where by the pulpit come. In the name of I'm married them. They will not argue. I will carry the woman. But I presbyter, I did not wear my wedding dress. There's one I was planning to buy. Didn't I tell you in 2 days I'll bring him, man? You couldn't say it in 2 days. Oh, man says, I need a woman. But Peter said, don't worry. I'll get you one. And I'll get you the one that has money. And sister, I'll get you the one that has money. Brother, I'll get you the one that has money. Both of you, at least you can complement each other. Because all the men Peter was fishing were people who had money. He said, no, you will not be catching fish and selling to make money. You will fish men who have the money. That's what Jesus was trying to tell him. Catch the fish, open his mouth. Open his mouth. There is a way you can preach to a person. And you preaching to the person, you opened his mouth. And money comes out. Because this is the last one. I was going to use it to pay for my rent. Pastor, take. We call it. So I was thinking you would even tell me, no, take it, go. I used to pay your rent. You didn't know before. I was going to take it. Jesus said, follow me. All that is needed for you to be made in life is to find the right person to follow. Jesus didn't say, let's be friends. You are still looking for a friend? Didn't you read what Jesus said? Or Zachariah actually said, I was betrayed by my friends. You are still looking for friends? No friend can make you. But there is one who can make you.
Yes, sir.
Do you know that Elisha followed Elijah to the extent that he became bored?
Yes.
He had bored there. That's to tell you how long he followed Elijah. They were already prophets prophesying. No? He had never seen one vision one day. He was still following. But when he finally became, the prophets who have been prophesying, I see your name is Methuselah. You live on Shekinah Glory Avenue. All of them prostrated before Elisha. Who are you following? You need to be remade. With all that you know, see where it brought you. Don't you think you need to be remade?
Yes, I do.
When you find yourself in a place where nothing is working again, like Apostle Peter, then that means that you need to be remade.
Yes, sir.
And God never told you he's going to be within a service. So I say, he laid hands on me, the demon left me. I thought everything would be fine, now do you know the damage the demon has done? You need to be made. You need to be remade. But the Bible says God chose us before the foundations of the earth. He was not talking to you. That's why we showed you that part. To know he was not talking to you. Apostle Peter never said he was chosen before the foundations of the earth. Because his own, when he started, he was catching fish. Fishing were not even coming. Until Jesus said, follow me, let me make you. So there are men without destinies. and you have nothing. Please attend. What is wrong with you now? What is wrong with you? Why are you doing this to me, my friend? You are distracting me. Okay, let's close then. Praise God. For the Lord God Almighty is the greatest. And His mercies endure forevermore. Alright, let's close. Let's please talk to the Lord. Lay soprateli ketia. Sata pratubo koseketi. Sata palitia. Ruku sata